We got Ode Osbourne. He's going to be welcoming Asu Almabaev to the UFC. And Osbourne, this is a difficult task. I mean, he's had 7 UFC fights before. This is going to be his 8th fight with the company. So he is a very experienced guy, but he's facing an opponent with an impressive record that's fought good opponents and looks like the real deal, but doesn't have a name, and it's his first UFC fight. So it puts Osbourne in a bad spot where a win doesn't do much for him, outside of maybe some hardcore fans, and a loss really puts him down. And he's 31 years old, so definitely can't afford to take a setback here. This is a big fight for him. If he wins this one, he might get another shot at a top 10 guy. He's already had a couple chances where he fought Tyson Nam, he fought Manel Cape, he fought one other guy that I'm forgetting, Kelleher. All those guys have been ranked at one point, and he couldn't get the job done. So he's trying to work back towards that. He is coming in off that win over Charles Johnson, which is a respectable victory. And Almabaev, he's another one of these new UFC flyweights on the scene. Recently, he hasn't been like a ton of flyweights being signed, but I feel like there's been more than usual. And there was Azat Maxim, who's also from Kazakhstan, that just recently fought and won against Tyson Nam. Even though that fight was very close, we're seeing some of those guys from that scene being brought over here. And Almabaev's on a 13-fight win streak, and he doesn't have a padded record either. A lot of his opponents have had pretty solid records, even if you could say they haven't beaten the best opponents themselves. And he beat a couple UFC veterans as well, so he hasn't beaten world beaters. And I do think Ode Osbourne, having 7 UFC fights, it definitely isn't an easy first opponent, but it isn't anything that Almabaev hasn't seen before. But this is going to be his first time fighting in the U.S., so that's going to be a pretty big adjustment. He also is coming in here on fairly short notice, along with it being his first UFC fight. So there's some reasons why I could see why some people would like Osbourne in this fight. But as far as how these two match up on the feet, Osbourne should have the edge. He's going to be the bigger guy. He's cleaner, more defensively responsible. He is, I believe, the heavier hitter too. And Almabaev, he's a wrestler. He has striking, but he likes to throw overhands, uppercuts. He'll mix in some spin kicks, and he's fast, but he leaves his chin out there. He doesn't really move his head, and I feel like early on, Osbourne is going to have a chance to counter and hurt him. Osbourne's faster, more fluid, and bigger. Like I said, taller, longer. He throws straight punches down the middle, and I feel like wrestling-wise, though, Almabaev is a beast. He's super strong. He has a really good single leg. He gets in deep, and he can slam guys with singles and doubles, and good chain wrestler, good scrambler. Relentless guy, too. He'll go for a lot of takedowns. Sometimes he doesn't really set up the takedowns that well and needs to do a little bit better job of that against Osbourne. But if he could take Osbourne down, I think he could start to wear on him a little bit. And when he gets it to the ground, he likes to take the back if he can, but he'll also have no problem just controlling you and holding you down. So he has kind of a style where it's hard to beat him by decision, and then when you get desperate to stand up, he can rear naked choke you. And he has a good jiu-jitsu background. I believe he was a Kazakhstani jiu-jitsu champion. And Ode Osbourne, he is a guy that, has improved his wrestling quite a bit and even showed off the offensive wrestling against Charles Johnson. I don't think he should wrestle in this fight, but he needs to have his takedown defense, his get-ups as good as ever. He was training for Denise Bondar, and he's training in Vegas with some good bodies. So this year, he's had a heavy emphasis on takedown defense, hopefully. And, Osbourne, though, his last fight, he got really tired, and I feel like if this becomes more of a grappling match, Almabaev's gas tank is going to be a big factor. It's a fight that could go either way to me, just because I think Almabaev has a lot of firsts, like short notice, first UFC fight, first fight in the United States. It could be a letdown spot for him. He could look flat, but I feel like Osbourne, on the other hand, he is untrustworthy in terms of durability. His chin is a little suspect. He's been knocked out 2 or 3 times, and his cardio is bad. And I feel like if you're going to go with Osbourne, you have to kind of anticipate he goes out there and can catch that knockout in the first round. But I feel as if it's more likely that Almabaev can avoid that, get a takedown, get Osbourne tired, and then kind of snowball downhill from there. So personally, I'm leaning towards Almabaev getting a finish in the second or third round. And I was looking at fight doesn't go to decision as a potential bet, but they got that at minus odds. It's not even plus money, so not really interested in that unless it hits plus money. And then I feel like it's a fight where you could potentially live bet right now if you're really confident in Almabaev. Maybe you could bet on him, but I feel like it's a little risky just because if he can't get the wrestling going, it's going to be evident early that Osbourne's probably going to take the fight and maybe even stop him. But if he can get a takedown on Osbourne, and let's say Osbourne starts fast, then you could lay some money down on Almabaev because you could see Osbourne slow down the stretch. So I'm going with Almabaev. I'll say it's a third round submission, and I just can't trust the cardio of Osbourne. I feel like Osbourne, if he comes in looking really on point and has his cardio really good, he could pull the upset, but it's a lot to ask, and I'm going to say Almabaev gets the submission victory here.